As we enter an era where data is a core asset for decision-making across industries, ethical considerations become more essential than ever. Issues such as privacy, accountability, and bias in data models demand that businesses use data responsibly. This chapter explores 5 major ethical facets in big data: ethical use of predictive analytics, bias in data models, transparency and accountability, ethical guidelines for data usage, and the need to balance innovation with ethical practices. These components form a framework for organizations to navigate the complex ethical terrain in a data-driven world. Ethical use of predictive analytics. Predictive analytics leverages past data to make informed predictions about future trends, behaviors, and outcomes. While predictive analytics offers incredible value across sectors, its use presents unique ethical challenges, particularly concerning privacy, fairness, and accountability. Privacy concerns. Predictive analytics often relies on vast amounts of personal data. While this data enables targeted insights, it also poses privacy risks. Individuals may not fully understand how their information is used or be able to consent to specific applications. To mitigate this, organizations should maintain transparency about data collection, allowing individuals to understand and control their data usage. Clear opt-in and opt-out mechanisms can empower individuals to make informed choices about sharing their information. Risk of discrimination. Predictive analytics can unintentionally reinforce stereotypes or discriminate against certain groups. For instance, predictive models used in hiring might favor specific demographic profiles based on past hiring patterns, excluding qualified candidates from underrepresented groups. Regular audits and the application of fairness algorithms help detect and reduce such biases, ensuring more equitable outcomes. Accountability in automated decisions. Predictive analytics models, especially those integrated into decision-making processes, should be monitored to prevent unfair consequences. For instance, if a loan application is denied due to an algorithm's prediction, the individual should have the right to understand the basis of this decision and appeal it if necessary. Organizations should implement guidelines outlining accountability and transparency in predictive analytics, ensuring ethical practices govern decisions. Predictive analytics offers vast potential for personalizing services, optimizing operations, and improving outcomes in fields like healthcare and finance. However, its ethical use depends on a robust governance structure that protects privacy, ensures fairness, and holds companies accountable for the impacts of their predictions. Bias in data models and its impacts. Bias in data models can lead to unfair and sometimes harmful outcomes. While data models are typically designed to be objective, biases often arise from the datasets used to train them, the choices made during development, or the real-world inequalities these models reflect. Sources of bias. Bias in data models often originates from imbalanced datasets, where certain groups are underrepresented or overrepresented. For example, facial recognition models may struggle with accuracy for individuals from diverse ethnic backgrounds if the training data lacks sufficient representation. In predictive policing, reliance on historical crime data may lead to disproportionate targeting of specific communities. Consequences of bias. The impacts of biased data models can be far-reaching. In healthcare, biased models could lead to misdiagnoses in certain patient groups. In finance, biased credit scoring models could prevent individuals from accessing loans. Addressing bias is critical because it affects public trust and the legitimacy of automated decision-making. Strategies to mitigate bias. Organizations can tackle bias through several strategies: ensuring data diversity, conducting regular bias audits, and adopting transparency in model design can help mitigate bias. Additionally, involving multidisciplinary teams, including data scientists, ethicists, and community representatives, can ensure broader perspectives are incorporated in developing models, promoting fairness and accountability. By addressing biases proactively, organizations can help foster an environment where data models serve all individuals equitably, enhancing the legitimacy and reliability of automated decisions. Transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability are essential for building trust with stakeholders and ensuring that data-driven decisions align with ethical standards. These principles foster openness and enable organizations to create a culture where ethical considerations are integral to operations. Importance of transparency. Transparency means being open about data collection, processing, and decision-making. When organizations provide clear and accessible information about their practices, they empower individuals to make informed choices about how their data is used. In corporate settings, transparency involves regular disclosure of data policies, performance metrics, and decisions that impact stakeholders. Accountability in practice. Accountability means that organizations take responsibility for their actions and outcomes. To achieve this, organizations need systems to track decisions, monitor compliance, and correct issues when they arise. For example, implementing a framework for documenting data collection practices and model design decisions allows organizations to trace the origins of issues when biases or errors are discovered. Additionally, accountability systems should ensure that individuals can seek redress if negatively affected by a data-driven decision. Challenges in implementation. While transparency and accountability are fundamental, their implementation can be challenging. Excessive transparency can lead to information overload, where too much data obscures critical details. Striking the right balance and ensuring information is understandable and relevant is crucial for fostering meaningful transparency. Transparency and accountability are not just operational practices, they are vital to creating a positive reputation, fostering trust, and supporting long-term sustainability. Organizations that prioritize these values can build stronger relationships with stakeholders and better adapt to future ethical challenges in data use. Ethical guidelines for data usage. Ethical data usage ensures that organizations handle data responsibly, respecting individuals' rights and fostering trust in their practices. Effective guidelines govern data collection, storage, processing, and sharing to promote fairness, protect privacy, and prevent misuse. Consent and choice. Ethical data usage begins with clear consent. Individuals should have the freedom to understand how their data will be used and have the option to agree or refuse. Ensuring that consent is fully informed, freely given, and specific to particular uses is essential in upholding individual autonomy. For instance, users should have a straightforward means of opting out of data sharing agreements without affecting their access to essential services. Privacy and security. Protecting data privacy is crucial, especially given the sensitive nature of personal information. Organizations must establish robust security protocols to prevent unauthorized access, theft, or breaches. Encrypting data, setting strict access controls, and conducting regular security audits are foundational practices for safeguarding privacy. Transparency and fairness. Transparency regarding data practices builds trust, while fairness ensures that data processing does not result in discriminatory or biased outcomes. Regular audits and inclusive data practices can help identify areas where improvements are needed, ensuring that data usage aligns with societal values. Implementing ethical guidelines. Establishing a strong data governance framework, educating employees on ethical data practices, and engaging in regular audits are key steps in ethical data management. Additionally, organizations should commit to transparent communication with stakeholders, providing clarity on data collection, processing, and retention practices. Ethical guidelines are not only about compliance, but about fostering a culture of responsibility. By prioritizing ethical considerations, companies can maintain positive relationships with customers, avoid regulatory issues, and create a foundation for sustainable and respectful data practices. Balancing innovation with ethical practices. As technological advancements accelerate, organizations face the challenge of balancing innovation with ethical practices. While innovation can drive efficiency and offer new solutions, it must not come at the expense of individual rights, privacy, or societal values. The need for ethical oversight. New technologies, such as artificial intelligence and predictive analytics, bring benefits and risks. Ethical oversight is essential to ensure that these tools do not exacerbate inequality or lead to unintended harm. For instance, developing surveillance technologies for crime prevention must be carefully weighed against potential privacy infringements. Creating an ethical organizational culture. Building an ethical culture requires commitment from leadership. By prioritizing ethics in company policies, decision-making processes, and employee training, organizations can create a culture that promotes ethical innovation. Encouraging open discussions around ethical dilemmas and establishing frameworks for ethical reviews are critical components of this approach. Ethical impact assessments. Similar to environmental assessments, ethical impact assessments allow organizations to evaluate potential consequences before launching new projects. These assessments identify risks, unintended harms, and opportunities for mitigating negative impacts, ensuring that ethical concerns are addressed from the outset. Challenges and the role of stakeholders. Balancing innovation with ethics is challenging, particularly in competitive markets where speed often takes priority. Engaging stakeholders, customers, employees, and community members provides diverse perspectives and can guide ethical decision-making. By gathering input from various sources, organizations can make more informed and ethical decisions. Balancing innovation with ethical practices is essential for building sustainable, long-term growth. By committing to ethical guidelines and actively engaging stakeholders, organizations can navigate the complexities of modern technology while respecting individual rights and societal norms. As organizations harness the power of big data, ethical considerations become increasingly important, from the responsible use of predictive analytics to addressing bias in data models, transparency, and the establishment of ethical guidelines. Businesses must prioritize ethics to build trust and foster sustainable success. Balancing innovation with ethical practices is no longer optional. It is a fundamental responsibility in today's data-driven landscape. By adhering to these ethical standards, organizations can leverage data as a force for good while safeguarding the rights and dignity of all individuals.